Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Just Ask Julia. This is Career Transformation Partners. I am actually Liz Helton, and I will be in the driver's seat today. We are talking all about LinkedIn. We are going to be going through everything that is changing on LinkedIn and the updates that you need to know about, because they are going to change the way you use the platform moving forward. So let's dive in. So first and foremost, there are some big things to know about why some of these things are changing on LinkedIn. First of all, LinkedIn now has 1 billion users. And when they hit that major milestone, they decided, all right, we're going to change a little bit up of what's going on. Back in 2020, they saw a huge shift in the way people were engaging with the platform because we were all stuck in our houses. It inherently became a more social place. And so LinkedIn said, there's something to this, but they wanted to make sure that we were still sticking in that LinkedIn lane. So they're making a lot of changes to both the algorithm and how they are funneling us through and what we're seeing and what we're doing to make sure that it is a wonderful place where we can still be sharing and engaging professionally. We all love our cat videos, but we can save those for TikTok. 49 million users are looking for jobs weekly on LinkedIn right now, which is a wild number. If you haven't looked at the jobs report lately, in June, the number hit 4.1%, which sounds a little bit scary, and it truly is. And all of those people are coming to LinkedIn because it's not just that 4.1%. It is also the underemployed. It is also those who are thinking about a job change. It is individuals who are working, have surpassed their unemployment and aren't being accounted for in that 4.1%. So the job market right now is truly a saturated place. And LinkedIn is the first stop for all of those individuals, or a large portion of those individuals, I should say, who are trying to figure out what comes next. There have been 150 changes to LinkedIn since January 1st. And we're going to get into all of them today. No, we're not. We absolutely aren't. We are going to get into the things that we have seen and looked at here that are going to be the most critical for professionals and individuals who are using LinkedIn on a daily basis, and the people we know typically come to us for advice around this. So we're not going to get into every single minute detail that LinkedIn has changed, but we are going to cover off on some of the biggies. Some of the big areas that LinkedIn is investing in that are going to play into a lot of what's changing. LinkedIn is investing into 4 key areas. AI is huge right now. We weren't even talking about AI in 2022, and now it is the biggest thing that we are talking about in terms of technology innovation, and LinkedIn is no exception to that. LinkedIn is adding a ton of features, primarily to its premium account services, and to the recruiting side for how it is helping both recruiters and job seekers navigate that process. They're working with AI and through its innate algorithm to be able to focus on better matching and smarter suggestions. And we're going to look at some of those features today. And then better enhanced candidate engagement on the recruiter side. Also, better actionable data and insights. So know that LinkedIn sees that the process is broken on both sides for both recruiters and job seekers. It is chaotic, and LinkedIn is really trying to figure out a way to make that process better for everybody, right? I was talking to a recruiter the other day that said that they had, in 48 hours, they had to completely shut down a job posting because they had not hundreds, but over 1,000 applicants on one job posting. So wild to me. And the fact that like the majority of those were not the right type of candidate or something that they were looking for makes it hard on both sides. So LinkedIn is actively trying to make that process better for everybody. So let's dive into what exactly it is that they are changing. All right, so first and foremost, let's understand what's going on behind the scenes and how they are changing the algorithm to make that experience better for us, the user on the outside, to have a better experience with LinkedIn all the way around. Okay, so first and foremost, it is now engagement driven. LinkedIn is prioritizing content that generates interactions, meaning likes, comments, shares, and so on. So LinkedIn is now not just looking at what's going on your profile, but it's looking at what is going on in your feed and how you are interacting in your feed. If you are somebody who has posted your profile and just looks when somebody engages with you or sends you a request, that is no longer going to help create inbound messages. If you all of a sudden thought, hey, I used to get inbounds from recruiters all the time. People would reach out to me all the time, and I'm no longer seeing that. That is because LinkedIn has shifted toward focusing on the engagement to ensure kind of more of an authentic interaction. It is focusing, here we go deeper into this, on relevance, making sure that the content that you're sharing is relevant and based on the activity and preferences. So as we're talking about content later on in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about the relevancy of what you're posting. It's not enough to just be posting consistently, but it is supposed to be something that is relevant to the area that's going to be useful for your audience. So if you're a job seeker, this is really important to be making sure that you are focusing on content that is going to show your area of expertise. Consistency. I did just bring this up, but regular posting and engagement are still important. It is not a light switch that you can turn on and off. It is a faucet that needs to constantly be trickling through and making sure that you are engaging and interacting with the platform. And don't be scared by that. We've got a lot of strategies that are going to help you out. And dwell time. This is one of the most fascinating things, and maybe the scariest when it comes to algorithms and how LinkedIn can track and measure what it is that you're doing. LinkedIn actually, and all social media platforms do this, focuses on dwell time, meaning how long you're spending looking at something. You may not click on anything, like anything, comment on anything, but the simple fact that you stopped, read, maybe opened the see more option to read the entire post. LinkedIn is tracking that, and it is seeing where your eyeballs are going from a scrolling perspective. Now, I don't know if you've ever had this happen on another platform where, or maybe even LinkedIn, where you've scrolled through something, you've read an article, you've just seen something that somebody posted, and all of a sudden, a while later, you see an ad on something along those lines. That is because of dwell time. It is everywhere. It cannot be avoided, but LinkedIn is leaning into this more now from how it is prioritizing you as an individual in the search results. So what you are looking at and reading will play into that. So making sure that your feed is filled with the right individuals, the relevant people that are going to that are going to keep you on track, I guess, with the things that your goals for your audience, that is going to be important. All right, what's gone? Things are coming in, but things are also leaving. First and foremost, creator mode is no more. We're going to get a lot more to this in a second. There is hope for those of you who do love creator mode. Creator mode was LinkedIn's feature that kind of gave more flexibility to those that loved to share and engage and post. It made it so that it made what you were sharing and what you were engaging the priority on your profile. LinkedIn has done away with this feature. It has kept a lot of those wonderful features that it had and now expanded it. So we're going to get into that in a minute. But creator mode as a toggle, as a turn off or on option, is no more. Profile hashtags, which was historically part of creator mode, but was a great way for individuals to say right up at the top of their profile, this is what I'm all about. That is gone, but we are going to get into what has been replaced. Video introductions. I know everybody is so sad about this one. Nobody is, because nobody used it. LinkedIn for a while played around with video introductions, where there was a feature that you could have an introduction where somebody would click on your profile photo and it would have you introducing yourself. Cool idea and concept, but for LinkedIn's target audience, or LinkedIn's primary audience at the time, it was maybe a little before its time. Maybe we'll see it again in the future, but for now, it is gone. This is the one that gets me. And I was actually really surprised by this. For a long time, the basic LinkedIn account had a limitation on the number of messages you could send somebody. Yes, that is still the case. But the little workaround that we all loved was that on the basic feature, you could still send a personalized connection request to individuals when you were connecting with them. LinkedIn is now limiting that for the basic feature. So that if you are a basic user, you only have I believe the limit is 5 per month of personalized connection requests, which is quite frankly a little bit of a bummer. It's a lot of bit of a bummer, because if you've ever been to one of these meetings, for instance, or a networking event, you might have 5 connections in just that 1 hour that you want to connect with, and then there you go. So the unlimited features, we predicted this years ago that LinkedIn was going to do further and further away with what you get out of the basic profile. And it really is looking like they are leaning more into the basic profile is there to get you set up on the platform, to get you familiar with the different features. But if you're really going to be getting serious about being on LinkedIn and being proactive on LinkedIn, premium is starting to be where LinkedIn is going toward. So let's talk about what's new. Well, for starters, an exciting turn of events, LinkedIn is figuring out finally what to do with that skills section. The skills section has been something that has been, I think it might have even been one of the first, like the original features on LinkedIn. If not, it was very soon after that. I cannot remember a time when we didn't have a skills section on LinkedIn. Up until this year, the limit was 50 skills. It has now bumped it up to 100. And LinkedIn is doing so much more to make that a valuable piece of the profile. You can now tag your skills to each of your roles. And while they have done away with the hashtag feature that we just mentioned, they are giving you the top skills feature on your about section, where you can add the top 5 skills to your about section to let people know, hey, this is my bread and butter. This is what I am known for. These are the things that you need to know about me. LinkedIn is also doing a lot more with how it is weighing your skills section in job searches. So the way that the skills that you possess, you're going to be able to see in premium, unfortunately, and we're going to get to that in a minute, a lot more analysis about the skills you have compared to the job feature. And they've been working through this for the last few years, and I think they've finally started to crack the code on it. Let's talk about everybody is in creator mode, right? So previously, if you were in creator mode, you would only have access to the adding a custom link to your profile. Now everybody has the opportunity to do this. This is great for individuals that are in a service-oriented business. So Julia and I, for instance, we have a link right here to be able to book an introduction. I actually have it go straight to my calendar, and I have a very specific link with a very specific calendar that anybody can book a little bit of time with me to hear what it's all about. This has been a really wonderful source of inbound leads for me, because people who maybe aren't on a premium profile and can't send me a message, or don't want to take the time to do that, or want that instant gratification of just like booking time, they can actually click right on that link and it will go right to my calendar. Another great source of use of this is a portfolio. So if you're a creative, for example, or if you're somebody who's got, a digital portfolio of any kind, this is a great tool, or a website as an example, all great uses of this button right here. And you can customize it to say pretty much whatever you want. The other thing that has now happened is that if you were previously in creator mode, your about section has moved back to its original spot. Now you're seeing this on my actual profile. So if I had to go to somebody else's, it would move around a little bit, but your about section is back to its inherent spot. But what we do now have is everybody has the ability, if they meet LinkedIn's certain requirements, to get a little bit more creative and engaged with the system. So once you meet LinkedIn's base requirements for how you engage, the number of followers you have, and that they see that you meet their vague overall creative requirements, you can do things like go live and things like that. So they are expanding that feature out to everybody. And not having it be something that you default buy into or don't. All right, so LinkedIn also now has a dedicated services section. So again, this is a great thing for somebody that's in a services oriented capacity. And what this does, and as I'm going to pull up Julia's section to show you what it looks like, is there is a section where you can actually see now what Julia's services are. And it actually, if you click on it, takes you to a little bit about what her services are all about, the services that she provides, and you can actually request services. And again, this is another way to be able to kind of get in touch with somebody if you're on basic, or if you are just looking to be a very specific direct, this is what I'm coming to you for. So another great new tool for LinkedIn for individuals using LinkedIn for things other than job search. All right, collaborative articles. Listen up. Collaborative articles are maybe one of the coolest things that LinkedIn has done to help people figure out what to post and what to talk about on LinkedIn, because collaborative articles are AI generated content that lets you go in and talk about the things that you're an expert in. So let's take a look at what that is. Now, if you take a look at what these are, these collaborative articles, you can contribute to any number of topics. These are a little bit hard to find, and I will drop this link into our chat box, and we will share it for those watching on the re-record or on the playback. In the link to the full presentation, we'll share that full link for you to be able to find it so you can start contributing too. But as you get to a certain point in your engagement, LinkedIn will say, hey, we want you to come and speak. We want you to come in and talk about certain topics, right? So there's a ton of different topics to choose from. We're not going to click through all of them, but what happens if you click on one of these topics, this topic, for instance, it's going to take you to this collaborative article. And what it's going to do is it's going to give you kind of the overall gist, the overall outline of what this should cover. You can click on any of these subcategories and contribute your feedback to it. And if you contribute to enough articles in the same category and get enough positive engagement around that same topic, what it's going to do is LinkedIn is going to note you on your profile as a top voice badge, or sorry, as a top voice on LinkedIn. So, so this individual, Vidi, actually wrote a great article. This is why I tagged her in. I clicked on hers because as I was looking further into this, she actually wrote a really great write-up about the top voice badge. And so I was like, hey, let's give a nod to her on this one. So you can see Vidi is a top data science voice, and you see she's got this orange badge. Now, you may see on some of the bigger influencers on LinkedIn a blue badge that has the LinkedIn logo and it says top voice on it, just in a general capacity. Those are selected by LinkedIn, right? These are more algorithm based, and LinkedIn is the top voice in a specific category badge. The orange badge is a use it or lose it feature. So you do have to you don't get to earn that top voice badge and then never post on anything again. You do have to keep that engagement up on the topic. But this is a really great way to also show, hey, you know what you're talking about. You're a great person to follow or connect with, to talk on a specific topic. All right. LinkedIn is also putting out a ton of new job search filters. So let's take a look at what some of these look like. So if you go over, you're going to see a ton of stuff that is the same as it's always been. But if you go over to the all filters category, you're going to see some new things. For starters, you're going to see things down here around under 10 applicants. Oh, don't we always love when we can see something that says under 200? Great. So you can filter around a couple different areas. So under 10 applicants, people that are in your network, a fair chance employer, which if you look here, it'll give you a broader description of what that is. So in this case, so it is individuals with criminal records. And you can learn more about that at a different time. And so you can take a look, and they have started to add in just more features to let you start filtering and figuring out what it is that you're looking for and kind of click through. Now, keep in mind when you're looking at this filter side that while you are a human clicking these buttons, the person on the other side of this application is also a human clicking some buttons when they are setting up their posting. So play around with this and know that it is never going to be perfect. The number of times I have seen, you know, that I get this question a lot, entry level versus associate. Well, there's people who have been in their careers for 10, 15 years and are considered an associate, but they're not entry level professionals. So, but there are plenty of entry level positions that are also considered associate. So play around with these features. I've said that before. I will say it forever. Clicking these is never a fail safe to get you to that one perfect role, but there are new and expanded features to let you dig around with. All right. LinkedIn is starting to do some really cool stuff with job search in particular. Job collections might be one of my favorite things. And if we click through, and I'm going to expand this out, excuse me. And you scroll down, sorry, where did because I clicked on it. Hang on one second. We're just going to go right back over to jobs, start again. And if we scroll down here, job collections are the jobs that LinkedIn's algorithm says, hey, you need to look at these jobs. This is going to be based on what your profile is saying. So the content that you have in your profile really, really matters. So you'll see this is what LinkedIn has predicted for me. So you're going to see a mix of a lot of writing positions, a lot of employment type stuff, which, all right, LinkedIn, you see me, you get it, but also no, I'm not going to be an a California employment law expert. So there is some work to be done there. It's not perfect. LinkedIn does its best, but this is just another great way to say, okay, what if you're seeing things that are completely off the mark on this area, that's going to tell you that your profile has some things that are maybe off the mark from what you're trying to go for. But let's look at some of these filters up here at the top, because these are really cool. So first of all, of course, you can search for remote. Unicorns, that was obviously the icon that got, I was like, wait, what does this mean in this sense? Because unicorn means so much in the job search / recruiting world. In this case, unicorns are private companies valued over $1 billion. The easy apply. LinkedIn is just pushing that easy apply button really hard. It really wants you to see that easy apply and push forward, applying through the platform. Now be aware that when you apply through easy apply, that the person on the other side is going to see a LinkedIn forward application. It is not going to see the resume that you have probably uploaded with it first. It is going to take into account your LinkedIn profile first. So if you're using that easy apply button, you better make sure that your profile is aligned to the type of role that you are applying for. Okay, top US companies, work-life balance. So there's a lot of really interesting things in here. Companies that are committed to helping with healthy work-life balance. That's really interesting that LinkedIn is starting to go through and say, okay, what are people actually looking for, and help you look for jobs in a different way. All right. Let's talk premium, because there's no escaping premium in conversation with LinkedIn now. LinkedIn is adding a ton of features to premium. As I said at the top of this, LinkedIn is really making sure that they are making that premium subscription, which quite frankly is a commitment financially, worthwhile. So first and foremost, they are letting you filter who has viewed your profile. You're going to have more insight into who views your profile with a premium account than you've had before. So with premium, you can now look at, of course, the last 90 days, 14 days, 365 days. Here's the part that I like. Looking at people who have viewed your profile that LinkedIn sees as people who can help you get a job. They're an influencer on LinkedIn, a senior leader in their job function, and so on. So these filters could be really interesting for you to be able to look and say, okay, who's actually viewing my profile, and help weed out individuals that are just casual browsers to people who actually you should be like looking at and navigating. Is there something there? Top choice job. Oh, I love this. This is really cool. Top choice job is a feature where you can now go through and assess in the job feature. You can go in and set at a company who your top choices are. And at any time, I believe it's 3, you can set with a premium membership to be able to say, this is my top choice. Like, this is one of my top companies. So if you're targeting certain companies, you can select 3 of those companies at any point in time and say, I want to work at this company so bad. This is why I want to work for your company. And because there's such a limited number that you can choose from, the person on the other side is going to be able to see that, okay, you're really committed to actually talking to us, right? And so this top choice is going to be an interesting feature moving forward, I think, for a lot of people to be able to kind of make stance. Almost, I actually equate this to almost like a modern day cover letter in a selective, very like pinpointy type of way of like, I'm very much talking to you right now, and this is the place I want to be, not just another job that I'm applying to. AI powered job search. So LinkedIn, more than ever, LinkedIn's AI job search features are going to, if you take a look at your job search feature, you can see right here, it's got this AI job assessment. You can say, how do I tailor my job to this? Am I a good fit for this? LinkedIn is now for premium users, giving a lot more support in helping you prep your applications with AI. Now, I want you to be careful because AI is still in its infancy stage, and it's not human. It doesn't use your voice. I always look at AI as a jumping off point. And if you go back and look at how AI can impact your job search, a presentation we did a couple months back at Just Ask Julia, we talk a lot more about some things to be on the lookout for. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about it more in the next few months about what you can be doing to leverage AI in your job search. LinkedIn is leaning into that, but also just remember your voice is more impactful than anything else. So I always like say AI is awesome with an asterisk at the top. Okay. AI profile enhancements. This is another feature that LinkedIn is leaning big into in terms of how you are engaging with your profile. You can now use AI with Premium to help with your about section. So if you're feeling stuck on how to talk about yourself, or maybe you have one of those about sections that is just a duplication of your resume, which, gosh, how boring for anybody who has both documents. Using AI as a way to maybe figure out how to talk about yourself in your about section is a great jumping off point that can then give you ideas to say, oh, you know what? I want to say it like this, or maybe I wouldn't use those words exactly. I would talk about it in this way. Great feature to look at. This one was really interesting to me, and I see it. I respect it. There is definitely a place for it, because myself as a resume writer, career strategist, I have helped draft many a message and post for individuals who just get that anxiety about sending someone a message, or don't know what to say, or don't have the perfect words. LinkedIn is now giving you the opportunity to help draft posts. So maybe messages. So behind the scenes, if you're trying to reach out to an individual at a company or make a new connection, LinkedIn does have an option to say, hey, help me get started with this. It'll give you some AI talking points, if you will, that then you will, because you're not going to just send what the AI tells you to send. You're going to go through and update that message and make it sound a little bit more human. But it's a great jumping off point if you just have that trouble starting. Same with posting. The posting draft support is a great way to gather your notes, gather your thoughts, all that expertise that you truly have, but either don't have the writing talent or desire or time to put together that post for. LinkedIn's AI post drafting support will take your notes and put together a first draft of your post that you can then go through and say, okay, how would I say this a little bit differently? All right. LinkedIn is also giving some free trials on other services. So LinkedIn is actually starting to partner with other offerings. So right now it's Calm, Audible, and BetterHelp that you can get free trials on. So if you have a premium or if you're considering premium, make sure you take a look at this because there's some other like freebies in it for you, which are a new feature. So not an ad, not a sales pitch on premium, just giving you the rundown on what is new with premium. All right, let's talk about some more job search necessities when it comes to LinkedIn. So we have candidates that have comprehensive profiles. This is not new. 71% higher chance of getting a job interview. We also know that 34% of recruiters will disregard candidates that they can't find on LinkedIn. So having that comprehensive profile is critical to a job search in particular. So update that headline and not just with your current title. You have 220 characters there. Make it searchable. That is the thing that is the most searchable on your profile. So make sure that it is filled with the keywords that people are going to be looking for when you want to be in their search results. And update that somewhat often. We're recommending that you update it between every 2 to 4 weeks and just change some words around, maybe move an order around, keep it fresh, because LinkedIn is also rewarding the use of the platform and giving you kind of extra credit points every time you update your profile. So you will turn up as more relevant because of the recency. So keeping that profile fresh is really important. Like I said before, get personal with your summary. Highlight those skills. You have 100 of them, use them, and look at those open to work settings. Now, I used to be a hard line, don't use the green collar kind of gal. I was a big believer that the first impression of you should not be that you're looking for work. We're in different times now. So there are pros and cons to using that green open to work banner, but as you may or may not know, there is the visible to recruiters only feature in the open to work setting. So if you don't feel comfortable putting it on a stage that you are open to work, whether it's because you have a job or you just aren't ready to shout it from the mountaintops, you have some options when it comes to the open to work settings. But if you are looking for work, make sure that you take a look at those settings and note what you're looking for, if you're looking now and immediate, or if you're kind of flexible, and then if you want it to be visible to the public or on just to recruiters. Secondly, leverage that whole platform. Get your connections up to date. Make sure that as you are meeting new people, having conversations, you are connecting with them. Your LinkedIn connections, your first degree connections are important in so many ways, but oftentimes it's because they influence who becomes a second degree connection. It gives you the visibility of who do you know that knows somebody, because you want to be creative in how you are reaching out to people. Clicking and submitting for applications these days is not working. Every time you apply for a job, you should be trying to find somebody to reach out to and talk to, a real live, honest to goodness human, whether it's somebody you know at that company directly or a second degree connection that you can go to a mutual and say, hey, I see you know so-and-so. Would you mind making an introduction? Get creative with that search bar. LinkedIn search bar up at the top is there to be able to search out things like posts. So go and look for, has anybody posted about this job? Has anybody said, hey, come join my team, and get in touch with that person? So especially if you're on a basic account, utilizing that search bar and finding individuals and people who are talking about things is really, really valuable now. All right, so most importantly, you've got two QR codes here, one for me and one for Julia. Connect with us. We are always there to answer your LinkedIn questions and to be a resource when we can be. So, so use those links, connect with us. You can also check us out at careertransformationpartners.com. This was July's presentation of Just Ask Julia with Liz. Next month, we're going to be talking about interviewing. So if you're watching on YouTube right now, make sure to go ahead and click the link below to sign up for a future session. For those with us today, we are going to be opening it up to your questions. So thanks so much again for joining us.